Good morning, dear students. Dear students, today we are going to start our new chapter, which is Nature and Structure of Market. Dear student, in this chapter we will understand that what is the meaning of market and what are the different forms of market. Like we have perfect competition, monopoly competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly and monopsony competition. Okay, so in this particular chapter we will understand what are these different forms of market structure. So dear student, let's start with the meaning of market. Now if you talk about market, dear student, this is very common term which you know hear in your day-to-day life, but the meaning of market in our everyday life is totally different from what market meaning in economics. Okay, dear student, now if you talk about in your everyday everyday uses, then you use market word to reflect the group of shops or where buyers and sellers meet to each other. Okay, it simply represents the market in a layman talk. Okay, now if you talk about market in economic sense, then market means, you can say that market is a place at which buyers and sellers meet each other. Okay, they transfer their commodities. Okay, they transfer their commodities and the amount of money, or you can say the cost of the commodity with each other, and they compete or bargain for that particular commodity. So this simply represent the market. Okay, so you can see it refers to the market for a commodity containing the buyer and seller for this commodity. The buyer and seller of the commodity are in competition with each other. So the buyer and seller both are in competition with each other. They may be separate over a particular place or in a particular, okay, they may be spread over a particular place or in a particular region or over the whole country. Okay, dear student, so we have one market for every product and services. So on the basis of the above explanation, market can be defined as, so this is your definition of market. You can write down this particular definition, that market refers to the whole area where buyers and sellers of a commodity are in competition with each other to effect purchase and sale of the commodity. This is simply known as market. Now the essential features of market, that what are the main features or essential features which a market have to fulfill, okay, to become a market. The first one is area. It means market is not related to any particular area. It is spread over an area which may be large or small, depend on the spread of buyers and seller. Second, buyers and sellers. So there must be buyers and seller of the product, and they should be in contact with each other. Okay, dear student, so however, contact does not necessarily mean physical presence. They may establish contact through letters, telephone and emails, which we can see in the purchase and selling of commodities in Flipkart, Amazon and so other commercial websites. Okay, so this is also reflect the market condition. The next one is commodity. Okay, now for the existence of market, there must be a commodity which will be bought or sold. It means purchase and sale by the buyers and sellers. So we have one market for each product or factor services. Okay, dear student, the last point is competition. That the existence of competition among buyers and sellers is also an essential condition for the existence of a market. Otherwise, different prices may be charged for the same commodity. So that's why there is a competition. So these are the 4 points which you have to keep in mind whenever you go study about market. Okay, so these four key features of market have: first, area; buyers; second, buyers and seller; and the third one is commodity; and the fourth one is competition. Okay, dear student, now let's start with our second topic, which is forms of market. Dear student, on the basis of degree of competition, market in a capitalist economy can be classified into four types. Okay, there are four types of market we have to understand. The first one is perfect competition, then monopoly competition, then monopolistic competition, then oligopoly, and the last one is monopsony competition. Okay, so we will understand all these concepts one by one. Okay, dear student, so let's start with our first concept, which is about perfect competition. Now, what is the meaning of perfect competition? Dear student, always keep in mind that this is not given in your book. Okay, I'm just explaining you that market is, further you can divide this. First one is perfect competition, and the second one is imperfect competition. Okay, so the market have two competition, one is perfect competition, second is imperfect competition. Okay, now all those things like monopoly, monopolistic, oligopoly, monopsony, all these are the part of imperfect competition. Okay, we will understand all these concepts in imperfect competition, and one is your perfect competition. Okay, dear student, now I hope it is clear that we have two headings, one is perfect competition, one is imperfect competition. And in imperfect competition we have four different parts like monopoly, monopolistic, oligopoly, monopsony. Okay, dear student, now let's start with perfect competition, that what is perfect competition is all about. Okay, now perfect competition is a market situation where there are a large number of buyers and sellers selling identical product. Okay, it means homogeneous product. Okay, it basically represent a market where we have so many buyers, okay, and so many sellers, and they all are dealing in a identical product, means which is same in quantity, which is same in shape, size, color, packaging, you can say that. Okay, so this type of market is simply known as the perfect competition. Okay, dear student, now the commodity is sold at a uniform price, the price is same in this market, so price is given to every seller. Okay, dear student, in other words, no individual seller is in position to influence the prevailing price of the commodity, and the seller can sell any amount of output at the prevailing market price. Okay, now this is the important point of perfect competition, dear student. Always keep in mind that perfect competition is a market in which we have large number of buyers and seller, they are selling identical product, which means they are selling homogeneous product, which is same in shape, color and size. Dear student, always keep in mind that in this type of market the firm is only a price taker, okay, and the industry is the price maker. Whatever price is determined by the industry, that price have to followed by the firm. Okay, now I hope you understand the difference between firm and industry. Firm means a single producer of certain commodity or thing, and industry means when there are too many producers, okay, of the same commodities, and then their summation becomes a industry. So the industry, okay, it is a huge unit as compared to the firm, so the industry decide the price of a commodity and the firm have to follow the same. This is simply known as perfect competition. Okay, dear student, now features or characteristics of perfect competition. Now what are the characteristics? Dear student, the definition of perfect competition as given above point out the following distinct features of perfect competition. In other words, there are some necessary conditions which must be fulfilled for a market to be called perfect market or perfect competition. Now what are those points? The first one is very large number of buyers and sellers. Dear student, in this competition we have a large number of buyers and sellers. So there are a large number of buyers and sellers of a commodity. The number is so large that none of them can influence the prevailing market price. Okay, the word large number implies that the number of seller is so large that a single seller shares in the total market supply of the product is insignificant. Similarly, a single buyer share is in total market demand is insignificant. Now I will explain you this particular point, that now in this type of competition like perfect competition, there are so many buyers and sellers that a single sellers cannot influence the price. Similarly, a single buyer cannot influence the demand. Now suppose in the market you can see that there are so many manufacturer of toothpaste. Okay, now suppose if Vrinda go to a shop and he wish to buy a Pepsodent. Okay, then he asks for the Pepsodent. The price of Pepsodent is rupees 100, for example, 100 for 200 gram. Vrinda denied that I don't need Pepsodent at this price, I need Pepsodent at rupees 60. then shopkeeper totally denied. Okay, खरीदना है तो खरीदिए, otherwise you can go. Shopkeeper can say this. Okay, because the demand of Vrinda cannot influence the demand of whole market. Okay, dear student, so the one customer demand, okay, the demand of one customer cannot influence the demand of the market, so there is no impact on the shopkeeper whether she buy or not buy that product. Okay, dear student, similarly, if you see the price on the producer point of view, then suppose the price of toothpaste is starting from rupees 10, which is known as the small pack, to rupees 200 300, which is of large pack. So the price of small pack is rupees 10. For every toothpaste you can see there is a small pack which is of rupees 10, so nobody will charge rupees 20 for the small pack of toothpaste, because every consumer is knowledgeable and they have the information about the market, so no consumer will entertain the shopkeeper. They will not buy the toothpaste, they will switch towards the another toothpaste which is available in the market. So that's why the producer may not charge according to his own. Okay, so this is large number of buyers and seller. Okay, now move to our second point, which is homogeneous product. Dear student, homogeneous product means product which is identical in mean, so that's why it is known as homogeneous product. Okay, homogeneous product refers to those products which is identical in quality, shape, size, color, okay, design, package, etc. So they are identical in the eye of their buyers. Thus, buyers have no bias towards any particular seller. They find no reason to prefer the product of one seller to the product of another seller. So since the product sold by the seller is identical, so no seller can raise the price of his product. Okay, if he does so, he will lose all his customer, which I told you in my example, that the price of the smallest pack of toothpaste is rupees 10, so nobody will charge price of rupees 20 for the smallest pack, because the consumer is knowledgeable, he can easily switch towards the another commodity, another brand. Okay, if Pepsodent is of 20 rupees, he will switch towards the Babool, Colgate, Miswa, okay, Dabur Lal. Okay, there are so many other brands available in the market who are producing the same commodity. Okay, dear student, so there is homogeneous commodity in the market. Next is free entry and exit of the firm. Okay, in this market there is no restrictions on the firms, that whenever they find there is a profit in the industry, in the market, they can freely enter in the competition or in the market, and when they find that they are suffering loss, they can freely exit from the firm. So that's why we can say that the third characteristics of perfect competition is that there is absolutely no restriction on entry of the new firm in the industry or the exit of the old firm from the industry. So this feature implies that abnormal profit is driven to zero. Okay, dear student. Okay, so this is the point, and in the long run firm will be able to manage only with the normal profit. This is the important point, that in this type of competition, that in the long run means period more than 1 year, firm has able to manage only the normal profit. They will not earn the super normal profit, they will earn only normal profit. Okay, now move to our next point, which is perfect knowledge. As I told you, in this market the consumer had the perfect knowledge about the market, similarly the producer also have the perfect knowledge. So the buyer and the seller both have perfect knowledge about the prevailing market condition. Okay, what is the condition of market? So this knowledge refer not only to the prevailing condition in the current period, but in all future period as well. Okay, dear student, so information is free and costless. Under these conditions, uncertainties about future development in the market is ruled out. Okay, for example, sellers are aware to the price charged by other sellers and cost prevailing in different part of the market. Okay, now if we talk about the producer who is supplying the Colgate, he knows the price of the smallest unit of Colgate is rupees 10. Similarly, he know that the Pepsodent is also selling at the same price, Miswa and Babool is also selling at the same price, Dant Kranti is also selling at the same price. It means he have the perfect knowledge. Similarly, the consumer have the perfect knowledge, that he knows that the price of Pepsodent is rupees 10, similarly Colgate is rupees 10, and Dabur Lal Dant Manjan is also rupees 10. So he can choose accordingly. So that's why they both have the perfect knowledge. Okay, so nobody will cheat them, neither the producer or neither the consumer. Okay, dear student. Next point is absence of artificial restrictions. Okay, there is no such restrictions. Okay, there is no instruments restrictions to instrument restrictions on the sale or purchase of products in perfect competition. Prices keep changing freely according to the demand and supply forces. So, no measures are taken to control the demand or supply of the product by the manufacturers, consumer, or the government. So, there is absence of artificial restrictions. Okay, our next point is perfect mobility. Okay, in this point, we know that mobility means when we can easily switch resources from one place to another place. Okay, dear students, so if you talk about perfect mobility, another feature of perfect competition is that there is perfect mobility in the market, both for goods and factor of production. As I told you, factor of production, like we have land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Okay, so there is a perfect mobility in goods and factor of production. Both we can easily move from one place to another place. So there is no restriction on their movement. Goods can be sold at any place. Similarly, factor of production can freely move from one place to another or from one occupation to another. Okay, no firm can secure monopoly control over the supply of factor of production. Okay, so land, labor, capital all are free, so they can move from easily from one employer to another or from one producer to another. Okay, dear student, our last point is no other cost except production cost. Okay, in this type of market there is no other cost. Okay, only we have to pay the production cost. So in a perfectly competitive market, the production cost is only cost. There is no other cost such as advertisement cost, such as transport cost, storage cost, insurance cost, etc. It is assumed that other costs are zero in this type of market. Okay, a producer can sell his product at any place, or a buyer can buy it from the place he likes. So there is no other cost in this type of market. There is only the production cost in perfect competition. So these are the 6 features of perfect competition. Okay, dear student, I hope you will understand all these now. Okay, now if the demand curve of form under perfect competition, okay, we all know about the demand curve which is sloping downward. Now demand curve under the perfect competition is parallel to x-axis, which is like this, parallel to x-axis. So this is our demand curve in the perfect competition. So demand curve in the perfect competition is parallel to x-axis, or this demand curve is known as, at this demand curve also known as P equals to AR equals to MR. It means price equals to average revenue, or average revenue equals to marginal revenue. So this is the perfect competition. Okay, that's it for today, student. In our next video we will discuss about monopoly competition. Till now, stay safe, stay healthy, dear student. Thank you.